Football, a game of surprises, always takes fans on a roller coaster of emotions. Man City, once a symbol of absolute dominance, now evokes a sense of bewilderment. The familiar crushing victories and effortless goals are gone. Instead, unexpected defeats and operational struggles leave fans wondering, what's going on? Let's not delve into statistics or cliches. Just observing Pep Guardiola's pensive gaze from the sidelines, or the players' helpless expressions as opponents outmaneuver them, is enough to sense something is amiss. But what's the real issue? Is this just a difficult bend in Man City's otherwise glorious journey, or a sign of inevitable decline? Manchester City is in a dark period, and this is no ordinary slump. It's an unimaginable downfall reflected in stark numbers. Only one win in their last 12 matches. With 9 losses, an unthinkable figure for a team once considered a winning machine. Worse, an 8-game winless streak away from home has become a haunting reality for both Pep Guardiola and the players. Their current 6th place in the standings is not just a wake-up call but a death knell for their historic title ambitions this season. Trailing Liverpool by 9 points, having played 2 games more, the chance of competing for the championship seems increasingly remote. Even worse, Man City faces the risk of missing out on Champions League qualification as Nottingham Forest surges ahead, 4 points clear in 4th place. So what happened to this once invincible team? The answer lies in the stark exposure of weaknesses in their gameplay, mentality, and individual quality. First and foremost, their creativity is in a state of emergency. The 1-2 loss to Aston Villa saw them achieve an expected goals (XG) of just 1.03, a paltry figure for a team boasting top attacking stars. In their previous defeat to Manchester United, their XG was even lower at 0.95. This is not a coincidence but a consequence of increasingly predictable and sluggish play. Man City currently lacks any element of surprise, as they merely pass the ball between the wings without creating any breakthroughs. This allowed Aston Villa to easily stifle them, forcing the Blues to simply endure the match. Haaland has become a symbol of the club's impotence. While he has still scored 13 goals since the start of the season, his form has noticeably declined with just 2 goals in his last 8 games. Haaland's expected goals per 90 minutes has also dropped sharply from 1.03 last season to 0.78. This suggests the Norwegian striker is no longer being provided with enough opportunities to score. Part of the reason lies in the fact that Man City's wingers, such as Jack Grealish and Savinho, are no longer real threats. Jack Grealish hasn't scored in over a year, while Savinho has yet to score since moving to the Etihad last summer. Names that once made the difference, like Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling, are now just fond memories. And Man City has not found adequate replacements. Not just the attack, but Man City's midfield and defense are also experiencing serious problems. Rodri's absence has exposed the team's fragility against quick counterattacks. This was evident in the loss to Aston Villa, where Johan Duran and Morgan Rogers had plenty of space to exploit. Without balance in midfield, Man City's ball recovery ability has decreased significantly, and they are frequently vulnerable to swift counterattacks. Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan are no longer at their peak. Bernardo seems tired and unable to maintain creativity throughout, while Gundogan, at 34, no longer has the physical strength to make his signature runs. All of this paints a bleak picture for the midfield, once the heart of the team. So where is Pep Guardiola in all of this? The Spanish strategist has publicly admitted he isn't doing enough to turn things around. But this is not just the problem of one coach. It's the comprehensive decline of a system that has grown accustomed to winning. The complex football principles Pep once applied are now a burden when the team no longer has the players capable of executing them flawlessly. Manchester City is not only disappointed in their own performance, but also feels the pressure from the rise of their direct rivals. While they are lost, Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Nottingham Forest are writing inspiring stories, creating a breathtaking contrast. Aston Villa, under Unai Emery, is playing fast, direct, and decisive football. The 2-1 victory over Manchester City was not only a morale booster but also proof of their formidable strength. Johan Duran is becoming a difficult striker to stop, while Morgan Rogers is showing sharpness and the ability to capitalize on opportunities. Aston Villa is no longer the weak team that Man City once destroyed. As for Arsenal, the team that has been inferior to Manchester City for years is now showing a completely different face. The 5-1 win against Crystal Palace was not just a display of strength, but a statement that they are ready to compete on equal terms. Gabriel Jesus, once criticized for his poor form, is now Arsenal's focal point with 5 goals in a week. The image of Jesus celebrating emotionally is a bitter taunt to his former club. The gap between Arsenal and Liverpool is now just 3 points, while Man City continues to stagnate. And the biggest surprise perhaps comes from Nottingham Forest, the team that barely escaped relegation last season, now striding confidently on the road to Champions League qualification. Their 2-0 victory over Brentford at the GTEC Community Stadium consolidated their 4th place, 4 points ahead of Man City. Under Nuno Espirito Santo, Forest has not only created shocks at Anfield and Old Trafford, but has also shown surprising consistency. They are not simply a phenomenon, but are becoming a real force this season. With Pep Guardiola seemingly lost, he admits he is no longer capable of turning the situation around, yet he still tries to hold on to his core principles. Simplifying the game and returning to what brought success is what Pep constantly mentions. However, is simplification enough to help Man City escape the crisis when opponents are constantly improving and diversifying their play? Pep's strategy seems to be going in the opposite direction, trapped between conservatism and the pressure to change. Hope is not entirely lost for Manchester City, as they still have the opportunity to turn things around if they know how to make effective use of it. What Pep Guardiola needs to do now is quickly improve tactics, especially by increasing the speed and flexibility of their play. The team cannot continue to fumble with aimless passes. They also need to maximize creativity from midfield. Stars like Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden are encouraged to take more risks, instead of choosing safe options. In addition, the January transfer window is approaching, and this is a golden opportunity for Man City to add the necessary pieces. A quality winger who can make a difference in decisive moments. At the same time, they also need a central midfielder capable of replacing Rodri when he is unavailable to ensure stability in the squad. However, tactics and personnel alone are not enough. The team's fighting spirit also needs to be restored, as this is the most important factor in helping them overcome this difficult period. Pep and his players need to focus on each match as a final, step by step consolidating their position in the standings. At least the immediate goal must be to maintain a top 4 spot to secure a Champions League ticket for next season. Manchester City is experiencing a crisis few could have imagined just a year ago. Their control of the game, their creative play, and their composure in decisive moments have now vanished, replaced by confusion and helplessness. This is no longer a matter of one loss or a string of bad results, but a sign of decline. If there are no immediate changes, Man City is really weak. It's not a joke. Will not just be a playful comment from rival fans, but a real wake-up call. If Pep Guardiola and his players don't adjust quickly, they will not only lose their chance at the title, but also face the prospect of missing out on the Champions League. However, with Pep's talent and experience, fans still have the right to hope for a comeback. This is not just an opportunity for Man City to regain their honor, but also to affirm that their dominance is not just a closed chapter, but a story that is still being written.